Oh hey guys, what's up? Welcome to your 98th Android tutorial for the new Boston. And again, what we're going to do in this tutorial is work with some data, like I said, for the next few tutorials, because it's a pretty crucial thing for most applications. You want to save some files, save some data somewhere, and so I'm going to kind of go through different ways you can do that. Now what we've worked with is the shared preferences, which is good for key and pair values, or key value pairs for the most part. So if you want to save just a variable, have that variable change and update it, we can do that. Now another way we can save some data or save some files is again internal storage, which is pretty similar to shared preferences, but I just want to show you guys some more stuff that we can do, and this data will be saved internally in the internal storage. So what's going to happen is if they uninstall our application, it is going to be deleted, this internal storage that we're going to create here, or this file. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to set up our class, and don't worry, we don't need to create a new XML layout finally. So we're just going to use the same one that we did from the other class as well. I'm just going to move this up here. Get started, and as you can see, I implemented the on-click listener, so it's nothing new there. I have a ton of imports, so you guys don't need to worry about. So what we're going to do within our onCreate method, we're going to set our content view to, what was it, r.layout shared preferences. It's going to be the same layout, same kind of stuff that we worked with when we did shared preferences. So now what we can also do is we can open up our shared preferences class, just save some time, and we can copy this setup variables method here. Actually, let's just kind of copy everything from here, which is our onClick method, which is just a switching case, and our setup variables method. Copy that. And then we're going to go over to internal data, and we're going to, since we copied our onClick method, we're just going to delete the one that it set up for us and hit paste. And we're going to delete whatever is within our save and our load button. So now that we've copied it, we just need to call this method setup variables within our onCreate method. So it kind of initializes all of our variables there. And we also want to add the references to our edit text and our text view. So we'll do that above our class. And a text view called data results. And there we go. We pretty much have everything set up for our tutorial now. Now how we're going to work with the internal storage is we're going to create a file output stream to write our data. And then we're going to create a file input stream to read our data. So let's first, just for this tutorial, we're going to write some data. But let's first create our file output stream. So again, we want this to be a variable that we can use throughout our whole class. So we're going to say file output stream like this, and we're going to call it FOS, or FOS. And within our setup variables, we're also just going to quickly create it and then close it for the most part, so we know that it exists. And we also want to have a file name, just like the last tutorial. So we're going to set up a string that's going to be our file name, and we're going to say string file name equals internal string, something like that. So what we need to do is we need to create this file output stream within our onCreate method, set it up to our file name, and set up how we want to write to it and all that good stuff. So we're going to do that within our onCreate method. Again, we have this method called setup variables, so we're just going to set it up within that method, which is going to be called within our onCreate. We're just going to set it up and then close it for the most part. So we created this file output stream. Again, output is how we write data, and we're going to set that equal to something called, or using a method called Open File Output. And what it takes within its parameters is the file name. Again, we just set up that variable as our string reference called internal string, and then we also want to say the way that we want to write to it for the most part. So context dot mode private, because we don't want anyone to see this file name. We want to only be able to access it within code for the most part, so we're going to use the default, mode private. It's giving us an error because when we open data, or try and write to data, load data, all that good stuff, it's not always, it's one of those sketchy things. We have to surround it with a try and a catch clause, so we can easily just hover over the error and say surround with try and catch clause. I'm going to click that, and now it's going to catch if a file has not been found, for the most part, exception, and then print it to the stack trace. What we also want to do is, after we create this file output stream, we just want to close it. So anytime we open it, we need to close it. So we're just going to do that quickly, fos.close. And there we go. And again, it's going to say, hey, we are trying to close it. We need to surround this with a try and catch as well. But since it's already within the try bracket, what we're going to do is we're going to say add a catch clause to the surrounding try. And as you can see, once we click that, it adds this input-output exception. So we have two things within our try bracket and two exceptions that it can catch. Again, file not found and the file exception, or input-output exception. So again, it just prints it to the stack trace. And that's pretty much it for this tutorial. We didn't write anything. We basically just created our file output stream using the reference of our file name, saying we want to write to it privately, and then we close it within our onCreate method. So in the next tutorial, I'll show you guys how to actually write to this stream, and it's going to be pretty simple for the most part. And I'll catch you then. Have a good one.